Let's give a big hand for Elena Owen.
When you're with a woman, or when you're in the presence of a woman, what the woman will do, you're the captain of a ship, and you may know where you're going, and you may have a sense of direction, but the ocean, the power of the woman, the mysterious, deep, dark waters of emotion start moving underneath you. There's a very strong current that can move you no matter how strong you are, how far you are on your path as a man. Once you get out to sea and you feel the currents, if you've ever been on a sailboat, that ocean starts moving. Waves start coming up. Wind and ocean start moving in a very profound way. And you may lose your course unless you know exactly where it is that you're going. When you're on a sailboat and these ocean waves come stronger and you see a woman or you feel her starting to raise maybe drama or maybe test you in any way or somehow destabilize you, if you don't have in a storm, when the boat is moving like this and it's moving like that, if you don't have somewhere to go, if you don't have a lighthouse, if you don't have a guidance system, if you don't have a vision and a purpose of where you're going, that undercurrent will sweep you off your feet. It will destabilize you. It will destabilize your self-esteem. It will destabilize your relationships. It will do things to you that you may think you got a lot of poor skills. You may think you have a lot of alpha male in you. But when that ocean starts moving, you better hang on or you better know where you're going. If you don't have a very clear sense of purpose in your life, you will have a real problem being a real man. What I want to talk to you about is a process, an integrative system that has all the necessary ingredients to guide you on your journey, that take you from wherever you are now to a whole new level, the next level. I don't know how long it was, how long ago you guys started on your journey. I have no idea. It might have been days ago, weeks ago, months, or even years ago. It might have been yesterday, or maybe even today. But whenever your journey started, my intuition is that you were at a level, as a man, as a boy, as a seducer, where you faced a crack in the road, a challenge, where you didn't like the way things were going. You might have not liked the way you were interacting with women, or women were interacting or not with you. You may have had a point, I think, where you all of a sudden realized that the old ways, whatever you were taught by your parents, your mom, your dad, by your peers, even by women themselves, didn't work for you. And I don't think that you guys would be here. If you guys were totally happy with everything, I very much doubt that you'd have ever embarked on this journey. But whenever you did this, whenever you went from boy to a man who starts exploring women, exploring the interaction, the dance with women, that at that point, something changed for you. It was like going from the blue pill, from being in your regular world, the muggle world, the path of the mundane, the path of the average, of where everything was luck and chance, where you didn't really realize how to do this thing with women, that something changed for you. Something happened where you had a big aha, or some kind of initiation, or some kind of surprise or challenge. And when that happened, you might have become a pua or a seducer, somebody on the quest to either be a better lover, a better man, whatever it is. It was a red pill. Things would never be the same. Once you embarked on that journey, things changed for you completely. And you realized, oh boy, well, if I buy a woman flowers or make her compliments, that doesn't work. And the bad boys seem to get all the girls, and I don't like that. Whenever that happened for you, you made a choice. You accepted the challenge. You took things to a new level. And you realized, wait a minute, I'm getting some skills, I'm getting some this, I'm getting some game, I'm getting some pickup lines. I may learn a little NLP, a little of this, a little of that, work through the mystery method or Neil's book or whatever. And then women started responding differently, and you were on a journey. But my intuition is that at one point in this journey, you hit a snag where all of a sudden you realized, wow, you know, I'm getting some phone numbers, but then women flake on me. Or maybe I'm starting to go on dates, but then I run out of stuff to say. Or I don't feel comfortable. Maybe you've ever had this feeling of, I don't know, there's something that is missing. I want to be a man, and I want to feel like a man, but I'm missing something. I don't know what it is. But women feel it. They sense it. They know if you have it. They know if you have what it takes to be that guy that is magnetically attractive and seductive to them.